Hi everybody, so it's Q&A day today, question and answer session. So we're going to go through some of your comments that you've been posting on the videos and have a brief chat about those as well and get some of the answers you've been asking for. So we're going to dive straight in as always. So this is a message from Topper. He's asked about the fifth seat in the Coast, asking whether that's an option you can have within the fifth seat and with the extra rail system that's in there. So I thought I'd broaden this one a little bit and talk about the fifth seat in general. So a fifth seat can go into any vehicle that's got 3 rail systems in there. So if you're ordering from the factory, which is pretty much what you need to do with the fifth seat variation, you can order the additional rail that's in there, or the actual fifth seat itself, which goes into that rail. You can't do this on 4Motion vehicles because it can't have that middle rail in there, but your normal coast and ocean variations, the fifth seat is an additional option which you can have and just sit straight into the middle of the vehicle that's there as well. We've done some videos in the past on how they come out and come in. We'll try and post some that's on there, but the next vehicle we get with a fifth seat, we'll do another recap video and we can talk about that with the fifth seat as well. I've been kind of waiting to see if we can get a 7-seat beach that comes in, because that would be good to show you as well the seating combinations, because I think the last video we did on that was, I think, 2016, I think maybe sometime around there. So hopefully we can get those out as well. So just to clarify, the fifth seat obviously is an option on the Coast, but obviously you always need that third rail in there. So if you were looking at, for example, a used vehicle and you wanted it with a fifth seat, obviously you've got to have that third rail in there to enable to accommodate that seating configuration. So and then just moving on from that fifth seat section that's on there, Mary had asked about how you remove that fifth seat. So I kind of answered that already, because we're going to do that extra video to show you how you do remove it, how you take it out, and how you what you can store with it and things like that as well. So so Mary, look out for that. It's coming as soon as we get one. We'll post that on there and show you how to remove it. It's quite easy to remove. And obviously then you can store that if you need to outside the vehicle. Somebody's asking about front heated windscreen. Heated front windscreen is an option on the T6.1 variations. In particular, I think you'd asked about Caddy California. Now as we stand at the moment, I've not had all the options list and things for Caddy California. Update on that, we've literally just ordered our demonstrator vehicles to come from the factory. So I've put in what we're having. We're having a copper bronze version, and we're going for the 122 PS diesel auto with the panoramic roof as well. So it sounds good and nice, we're hoping, when it comes in as well. But as soon as those go live, or they're about to go live, which I don't think will be too much longer now, fingers crossed, obviously we'll do a separate video just on that. We'll look at all the options you can get and we'll talk you through that at that point as well. Somebody had asked about the Grand California, the toilet, and they'd asked whether you need a nose clamp or not. That was a bit of a jokey one there, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning about the SOG tank, because I think that's kind of what they were possibly getting out of there as well. So the SOG system, the SOG system, that's exactly what that is for. So to recap on that, is it creates this vacuum within the tank in the Grand California, so that you then don't get those smells and things like that that's on there as well. So 2 questions on the auxiliary heater, and they're kind of both related. So the first one is about the options for ventilate, no change, and then the actual auxiliary heater system itself. And the second question we reference that is I think trying to get at is having the key in the ignition to actually change those. So basically within the auxiliary heater and within the control panel, which is on the driver's side above from on there, you've got the option to change the type of heating that you've got. So you've got ventilate, you've got no change, and you've got the auxiliary heater setting that's on there. And to change those, you have to have the key in the ignition. And the reason is for that, you don't have to have the key in the ignition to turn them on or off, but to actually change the settings, you do need to have the key in there. And that's to make sure that it's set on the right particular one, and that you as an owner have the facility to do that, and so it doesn't get changed by children or anything out from there. So the difference is no change basically means no change. So you're in that particular setting and you realise, actually I don't need to change what's in there, so click no change and that will just take you back out again. And then your other 2 options that's in there, so you've got ventilate and auxiliary heater. My thing from on here is you want the auxiliary heater. The ventilate variation of it is basically just ventilating the vehicle. So if you put that on, for example, to turn it on, the fans that come up through the front of the windscreen, so at the front of the windscreen, your fans will come on like you would be demisting it, for example, and that will give you ventilation then within the vehicle. So I suppose that might be quite handy, I suppose, if it was, you know, it was hot in the vehicle and you wanted to get some more air in there. But I think for 90% of the people, put it on auxiliary heater, leave it, and never turn it off from on there. And obviously these functions are working when the vehicle's not being driven. But in answer to the second question is, you do need to have your key in the ignition to change those things. So anything like that you're changing on a permanent basis, you need the key in the ignition, and it will then give you access to them. If you try and access that particular option, it won't do it without the key in the ignition. So I hope that makes is clear on there as well. So at some point maybe we'll do another recap video on the heating system, and we can talk a bit more about that then. Next question is about the lighting in the vehicle, and it was to do with I think the idea we were getting at was when you've got the key in the ignition and the lights come on above the head-up display that's on there. Well, there is a switch to turn off your internal lights. So for example, you can have it so that when you get in your vehicle, no lights come in. Because you kind of got two systems. You've got your camping system and you've got your car system for the lighting. We are actually going to do another video it's about the internal lights in the vehicle as well. And I know one particular subscriber is looking forward to that because he keeps asking me about the lighting system, and I keep promising we're going to do one on lighting. We haven't got round to it. So because there are a few little tricks with the lighting, and I know a few people have been, you know, why does this come on? Why does that come on? And it's because the way I look at it is there's kind of two separate systems. There's your car lighting, same lights that come on, but the vehicle thinks it's in like car mode, if you want to call it that, which is when you're driving, your day-to-day driving and things like that. And then you've got your lights as far as your camping mode is concerned as well. And there's a little bit of a crossover between the two. So we're going to do that filming tomorrow, so probably quite quickly after this Q&A session. And obviously that'll explain more about the lighting session that's in there as well. A couple last few questions that's on here. Dean's asked about the privacy glass, the tinted glass in the sports package, whether it's darker than the normal privacy glass. It's not, it's exactly the same. I do know it does list privacy glass as an option within the sports package, but there are a few things, if you notice, within that which actually are standard features, but they're just listed there together to give you an idea of where they are. So standard privacy glass that you get, there's not an additional one for if you get the sports package, and I'll put a link somewhere below as well. We've done one on tinted windows, etc. as well before a video, so you can have a look and check that out as well. So hope that answers that for you, Dean. And then last two questions, one of which I can't really answer at the moment, but I'm going to try and find out for you. So somebody asked about the satellite TV, so I'm assuming they're referring obviously to Grand California, and whether you can pick up UK satellite channels if you were in Spain or Portugal. I have no idea to that particular question. I have been trying to look into it, not found the answers yet, but I will do. If anybody out there already knows, if you've got a Grand California and you've been in Spain or Portugal or anywhere else in the world for that matter that's in there, and you know whether, for example, that does work and you can work, please let us know, and then I can pass that on. And then finally, somebody's asked about awnings on the side of the vehicle. I didn't say which particular vehicle we were looking at, but they're asking whether awnings could be fitted afterwards or not. And this is a very straightforward yes and no answer. So Grand California, the answer as far as I'm aware is no, and the reason for that is because the way the awning is done, there is obviously it's screwed and attached through the actual top of it, so we've got no way of actually retrofitting that awning onto the Grand California from ourselves as dealers. Now whether there's somebody else out there maybe doing it, I don't know. If you know somebody who is, let us know. It would be interesting to get an opinion on that as well, but from a dealership point of view we can't, but on the T6 variation we can. So everything that we need for there is part and parcel. So the bolts which actually hold the brackets, which are actually driven from the top of the vehicle, those holes and brackets and screws, for example, are there on every California. And the way in which the awning goes on. So we have fitted quite a few awnings to Californias that either were not ordered with them in the first place, or used vehicles, for example, that didn't have them on, that's on there as well. So they can be fitted afterwards and aftermarket from there. Now, if you've not got a California, you've got something different, for example, like say you've got a Caravelle or something like that and you want to put an awning on the side, again, it's possible. It's not something the dealer network does. Thule, a huge supplier of awnings, do lots of them as well, and the other company that I can never pronounce, Fayama, so it's in another great manufacturer of awnings as well, and obviously those vehicles you can retrofit awnings on top of those as well. Best speaking to a specialist who would do those for you. That's all the questions that we've been asked in there. Hopefully we've not missed anybody out. As I said, it's really important to us if you put questions and answers in there. We always try and get around to them and answer them for you. We like to do it in this way and doing a Q&A session video, just because everybody finds out about it then, and then obviously people sometimes comment on those ones and gives information back as well. Just things that you know what's coming up as well. We are hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be getting this list very shortly. Volkswagen keep telling us it's coming, and then we don't get it, unfortunately, but I think they are quite close to giving us an update on the second half of the year California production. And as always, as soon as we get that, obviously we'll get that straight into you as well. So hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you found it informative. If you have, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.